Welcome to The Explainer. Have you ever stopped to think about a plant? It's stuck in one spot, can't move. So how does it get the energy to live? Well, today, we're going to take a deep dive inside a plant to unlock the secrets of its very own cellular power plant. So here's our roadmap. We'll start with the plant's big energy problem, then see how it actually makes its own food from sunlight. After that, we'll see how that food gets broken down for energy, and finally, wrap it all up by seeing how everything connects in this perfect, elegant loop. All right, let's jump in. Okay, first things first. Let's really get our heads around the fundamental challenge that every single plant has to overcome just to stay alive. Really think about it for a second. Animals, including us, we can move around. We can hunt, we can forage, we can go to the fridge. We find energy. But a plant? It's literally rooted to the spot. It can't just get up and find a meal. So it has to do something way, way more amazing. It has to make its own. So, how in the world does it pull that off? Well, the plant's solution is one of the most important chemical processes on the entire planet. It solves its energy problem by, basically eating sunlight. This incredible transformation happens inside millions of tiny green factories inside the plant cells called chloroplasts. Seriously, they take the simplest ingredients, the air we breathe out, water from the ground, and sunlight, and they turn them into an energy-packed sugar. And as a bonus byproduct, they release the very oxygen we need to breathe. Pretty amazing, right? Okay, so now we're going to zoom way, way in, right onto the molecular assembly line inside those chloroplasts. You see, it's not just one simple step. It's this incredibly sophisticated cycle that builds sugar, molecule by molecule. The whole process kicks off with an absolute superstar enzyme called Rubisco. Think of Rubisco as the factory's most important worker. Its one job is to literally grab carbon dioxide right out of the air and pull it onto the assembly line. It is so essential to life that it's actually the most common protein on our planet. Now, the assembly line process itself is called the C3 cycle. And yeah, it can sound pretty complex, but there's a neat little trick to help us remember how it works. So here's the gist of it. Our superstar worker, Rubisco, or Ruby, captures that carbon dioxide. Then it's converted into a 3-carbon molecule, and from there, the factory uses that molecule to build the prize, glucose. It is an absolutely incredible process of turning a gas from the air into the solid energy-storing foundation of the plant. But nature is all about adaptation. It's not a one-size-fits-all deal. While that C3 pathway is the most common, some plants, especially those in hot, dry climates like corn and sugarcane, have evolved a different, more efficient system called the C4 pathway. It's a bit more complex, but it's a game changer for them when water is hard to come by. Okay, so the factory has done its job. The plant has built up its pantry and it's stocked full of glucose. So what now? Well, now it's time to cash in all that stored energy to fuel everything it does, growing, repairing itself, just living its day-to-day life. The very first step is a process called glycolysis, which literally just means sugar splitting. Think of it like this. You have to spend a little money to make money. The cell invests a tiny bit of energy to snap that big glucose molecule in half, and in return, it gets a small but very quick energy profit. And this process, it's the universal first step for basically all life on Earth. So, after that initial split, those 2 smaller molecules head into the cell's true powerhouses, the mitochondria. Once they're inside, they enter another process called the Krebs cycle, which systematically takes them apart, piece by piece, to squeeze out even more energy. And you can think of this cycle as a wheel that just keeps turning. With every single turn, those fuel molecules are broken down more and more, releasing a steady stream of high-energy electrons. And those electrons, they are the real gold here. They get captured and carried off to the final stage. Which brings us to the grand finale. Seriously, everything we've talked about so far was just the warm-up. It was all about collecting these energy-rich electrons. This is the main event. This is where the vast majority of the cell's energy currency, a molecule called ATP, is finally made. So inside the mitochondria, you've got this chain of proteins, almost like a bucket brigade. And those energy carriers we just collected, they arrive here and drop off their high-energy electrons. These electrons then get passed down the line from one protein to the next, like a game of hot potato, releasing a little burst of energy with each handoff. The whole process works just like a hydroelectric dam. It's brilliant. The energy from those electrons is used to pump a bunch of hydrogen ions to one side of a membrane, building up a ton of pressure. Then, whoosh, those ions rush back through this amazing little turbine-like enzyme, and that powerful flow generates a massive, massive amount of ATP. And at the very end of the line, oxygen is waiting there to catch the used-up electrons. So what's the final count? It's incredible! From that one single molecule of glucose that the plant made, it generates around 36 units of ATP. That is a huge return on investment, and it's what powers absolutely everything the plant does. All right, let's pull the camera all the way back one last time. We've seen how plants make their food through photosynthesis, and we've seen how they break it down for energy. But the real genius, the true magic, is seeing how these two processes are so perfectly connected. I mean, just look at this. It's beautiful, perfect symmetry. The waste products from photosynthesis are the exact ingredients needed for respiration, and the waste from respiration is the exact fuel for photosynthesis. Plants produce the sugar and oxygen that almost all life needs. In turn, we breathe out the carbon dioxide that plants need. It's a perfect, self-sustaining circle of life. So, at the end of the day, this isn't just a story about chemical reactions. It's the story of a single, powerful, elegant system that connects every living thing. The very air we exhale gives life to the plants that give us the food and the oxygen we need to keep on living. It's a constant, powerful reminder of just how deeply and wonderfully interconnected our world truly is.